In this video, we will be showing you the cool features of the new Azure Data Lake Tool for VSCode. It provides users best-in-class authoring experiences for U-SQL, a language you'll be comfortable with from day one. Azure Data Lake Tool for VSCode is a cross-platform, lightweight, keyboard-focused code editor, which removes constraints and dependencies on a platform. Users can run the tool smoothly on Windows, Linux, and Mac. Let me first open my VSCode in a slick Mac machine. I'll open a folder and create my demo.usql. I will show you how I can easily navigate to ADLA metadata and view my metadata entries based on the hierarchy. I first need to log in. Let me go to the command palette by pressing F1, choosing the login command, and the tool opens the Azure login window, which asks for my credentials. Upon logging in, I can go into the command palette again. Please note that all the Azure Data Lake related commands are grouped under the ADL prefix. There are also hotkeys for better accessibility. If I want to list my tables, I can choose the ADL list tables command. The tool will ask for my account information, my preferred database, and the schema. Then it displays the corresponding tables in the output window. To get a quick start, I can simply go to the command palette and choose ADL Open Sample Script command. This will open our U-SQL sample script. This allows me to get familiar with U-SQL syntax, keywords, functions, etc. Next, I will be demoing my Twitter analysis project. First, let me get my Twitter analysis U-SQL script from my GitHub account. Go to the GitHub U-SQL repository. Copy the GitHub URL and clone the files locally. Now I have my U-SQL script files saved in my computer. Let me open the folders we just synced from GitHub. This will be my U-SQL working space for my tweet analysis. Open the extraction inline code script file. I want to perform an analysis on my tweets via leveraging U-SQL features and built-in C# expressions to extract data, perform data transforms, aggregation, and finally output the data to a CSV file. In order for me to access my metadata information, I need to go to settings.json file to specify my ADLA account. Now I can use the database I want to use. Select the needed data into a dataset. As you can see, we have IntelliSense support for ADLA metadata, keywords, functions, as well as C# expressions. You can see our syntax highlights working beautifully here. My script is complete now. I can submit it into Azure Data Lake Analytics for compile and execution. Let me set the parameters by specifying my ADLA account. The job will be submitted under this account. I can enter other job-related information such as runtime, priority, degree of parallelism, or I can leave them blank and the tool will use default values. With all the settings completed, I am back to my U-SQL file and ready to submit my job into ADLA. As you can see, the job submission status displays in VSCode output window under Data Lake category. At the same time, the tool opens the Azure portal, which allows me to view my job execution summary in different phases, and also monitor job execution progress from the job graph. I can also preview the input and output of my files. VSCode Azure Data Lake Tool enables me to fully leverage U-SQL extensibility. For example, UDOs, UDFs, UDAGG, through custom code. I can do so either through registering an assembly or using code behind. I want to perform some analysis around mentions in my tweet project. In my U-SQL file, I need to use the getMentions user-defined function from my tweet analysis assembly, which I built before. First, I need to register my assembly into ADLA. Then, add my assembly references to my U-SQL file. Now I can use my UDF in my U-SQL script. When my script is complete, I'm ready to compile and submit it to Azure Data Lake Analytics. Upon job submission, I can view my job submission information in the VSCode output window and monitor my job status in the portal. Another way to make use of custom code is to use the code behind capabilities. The advantage of code behind is that the tool takes care of the following things for me. First, the tool creates a .cs C# file and links the C# file with the original U-SQL file of the same name via the generate code behind command. I can fill in the custom code for the script in the code behind file. I can then add my U-SQL UDF reference in the U-SQL script. Next, I compile my U-SQL script. The tool will create a code behind folder and build the assembly for the code behind file. The tool also automates the registering process at the beginning of my U-SQL file and automates the unregistering process at the end of the file. Now I'm ready to submit my U-SQL script and my code behind file into my ADLA account. Again, the job submission status displays in the VSCode output window under ADLA category. At the same time, the tool also opens the Azure portal, which allows me to view job execution status and monitor the job status. In summary, VSCode Azure Data Lake Tool builds on top of VSCode for U-SQL authoring, leverages ADL Java SDK for U-SQL job submission, and integrates with the Azure portal for job monitoring. VSCode Azure Data Lake Tool fully embraces the U-SQL language. We can enjoy the power of IntelliSense, syntax highlights, and error markers in VSCode for U-SQL. It empowers us to enjoy all the advantages of U-SQL, process any type of data, integrate with your custom code seamlessly, as well as efficiently scale to any size of data. VSCode Azure Data Lake Tool integrates seamlessly with Azure Data Lake Analytics. Users do not have to manage deployment of clusters, but can simply submit their jobs to ADLA, an analytic platform managed by Microsoft. To get started, please go to the Visual Studio Code Extension repository and search for Azure Data Lake Tool. You can also find the user menu from our link at aka.ms/ADL VSCode.